Delighted now. This man needs no introduction. A guest, one of our first ever guests. I think the first ever show this man was on, and he's a big fight coming up in just over a week's time at Titan FC 39 in Florida, and that is Pat Bam Bam Healy. Pat, my brother, what's been happening in your world? I know you've been down in New Mexico now for the last 2 weeks. What's been happening, brother? How are you keeping?
Oh man, I'm doing great, and just been training hard. Life down at the BMF ranch is always a little bit crazy. You're always running wild, training like 3 or 4 times a day, sleeping when you can. So I've just been living the BMF lifestyle, and I feel pretty dang good going into this fight.
That must be a problem, Pat, getting sleep down there when you have a guy like Cowboy knocking around, and we see the posts on Instagram and social networks, the skydiving, whatever else he'd be up to, buggy riding or whatever. He's a tough man to try and calm down and maybe even get a bit of kip in at times. Fair enough.
Yeah, man. You got to pick your battles, man. You can't try to do everything Cowboy does, man, because you'll just be dead. So I kind of pick and choose like what the things I do, and if you got an hour free time, you better take that hour. You better sleep for a half an hour, and then and another thing is, man, with Donald, he's on this thing called the bird diet. That's what we nickname it. He never eats, man. So I always have like a bag full of gear, because you never know how many training sessions you're going to do or what's going to come next, and a bag, because I like to stay nourished when I'm training, and eat throughout, never be hungry, and that's on you.
That's where we start off. I believe recently, I don't know how recent it is, but I believe you've adopted a paleo diet and lifestyle, throughout your training and into your everyday life. Can you just talk to me a bit about that, Pat?
Yeah, man. I guess I don't really. There's so many like paleo similar diets. I don't know exactly if it's like 100% paleo, but it's kind of the fat-based, low to no carb, low to no sugar, and it's been great, man. I feel like I can eat a ton and still lose weight, and
is that something you've adopted more recently? I've been on for a long time, or is that something that as you've got older, obviously you have to look after your body a little bit more? Is that something you've taken on board in recent times?
Yeah, definitely. It's been, let's see, I did it for my last fight, but, I went down and I said, man, you know what? I would need to do this all the time, and I'll give myself a little bit more breaks when there's not a fight coming up. I'll be a little easier on it, get a little stricter when this fight came around. But man, the craziest thing was I had no idea how addicted to sugar I was. Like cutting out the sugar at first, and like your body just kind of is pissed, man. It was crazy. I was like so disappointed in myself. Like, how could this happen? Like, when did I become so addicted to sugar? And it's just been great. Like that was the hardest part, and I just feel like my energy level is just so much more even. Like I don't go up and down. I'm not like don't have that mid-afternoon crash or whatever where you always feel like you need a nap or something. Unless I'm trying to keep up with Cowboy, but that's a different story. Yeah, man, it's a lot, I think, cleaner energy, and I think that's what we're all looking for.
Is that something, Joe Rogan's talked about a lot, the sugar, as well, as you mentioned there. He went off it. He said he mad headaches for a week, but once, we're creatures of habit, really. Is that something that you've one eye, this diet and the paleo diet, something going forward in relation to you getting back in the UFC? Because I think people are pretty confident that you're going to get back in there at one point, and the new weight restrictions now, how would that affect you if you were to go back to the UFC, going in a fight week with the weight restrictions?
Well, like as soon as they announced that, even though I'm not in the UFC,
You
I
have
was
to have
like,
a
man,
mind, one eye on it.
I
Yeah.
want to come in under those. I want to train my body and everything to come in. And I think 155, the limit they kind of set is 167
Yeah.
to come in at fight week. Uh, so I'm already 168, and
Wow.
I don't leave till next week. So I'm already pretty close to that, and I'm confident that I can lose that extra pound and come in that start of that week at 167, which will be great. So
Is that the lightest
um,
you'll have ever been gone into a fight week?
yeah, just about. I think yeah, definitely. I think usually I'll say like 168 is my goal.
Yeah.
Uh, 168 and 170, I feel pretty confident coming in because I really I strip off a lot of weight that last week on diet, just being real restrictive. So, if I come in at 167, I think I'll start my water cut from 64 or 65, which will be pretty nice. If you can do, 10 or less, it sounds like a lot, but it's comes off pretty easy.
Is this something, you said you've taken it on over the last number of fights? Is it something you've always had an eye on, nutrition, Pat, because I remember, in the past, we've had you on the show, numerous amount of occasions, since back in the Strikeforce days, going back 5 years nearly. Is it something, as you've got older, that you've gone, I have to be a part of this? But where have you taken? Obviously, you have it down to a fighting science now. Have you been reading books? Have you been, getting advice off? I know Lou Giordano's down in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Well, he was with BJ Penn, and he was there with Andrei Arlovsky and a few other guys there. Do you take little bits from people, or do you read up on it? Because you seem to have down to a science there, as you've said.
Well, yeah, I mean, I try to learn from whoever I can and keep my ears open. I think kind of the ketogenic style diet is kind of becoming popular. I think we need being, how intense and hard we go. Sometimes you need a little bit more carbs than that straight
Course.
ketosis style diet. But yeah, and I mean I'm kind of like a nerd when it comes to stuff about fighting. Like I get something in my head, man, and I've read like 3 or 4 books on it. Like I'll find a guy I like talking about it, and I'll search him on the internet and find as much stuff as I can about it. So I mean, this is my profession. This is what I love to do. So anything with fighting, when I get interested about it, I want to just learn as much as I can.
Fair play. It's the way to do it, man. Let's get off the diet and food, because obviously you can't eat as much as you probably do on a regular basis at the moment with the fight coming up in 10 days. I'm not trying to piss you off here, man. I don't see that computer going out the window or anything like that. But you're down in Albuquerque again. I think it's the third or fourth fight you've been down there. From your posts and stuff, obviously I'm a fairly active guy on social media and things like that. You seem to be posting obviously you're down there now in the ranch, as you said, but you seem to be posting a lot more stuff with Brandon Gibson, and I saw a post you put up with Greg Jackson there. Have you been working a little bit more closely with those guys, because the relationship has obviously grown a little bit closer over the last few times you've been down in the ranch ahead of this fight?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to work with Brandon a lot lately, and he's really good, man.
Definitely.
He has a great knowledge of not only kicking and kneeing and all that, but I mean all aspects of striking. And if you talk to that guy for 5 minutes, you realize like how much he knows. And I like his style. I think it fits well with me. And he doesn't try to train me the same way he would train Cowboy, or he knows what I do. He focuses on that. We're always working
Yeah.
shots into and takedowns into the striking. So, that's the stuff I really like. He he's super knowledgeable, and he'll tailor it to each individual, not just like, okay, this is my system, do this. He looks at me, knows what I do, and helps me improve.
Is there more? Have you noticed a more calculated approach? What have you taken from guys like Greg and, as we say there, Brandon? Say if you're in a fight, things aren't going your way and around it. Is there little bits of advice that they've given you on board that possibly you can change up things? Because I think a lot of people know what you're going to do, and what you're good at is obviously you're wrestling and grinding guys out till the latter rounds where you look for that finish. Is there anything that you've really noticed that has stood out that you could maybe change up if things weren't going your way in a fight from their advice?
Yeah, definitely. They pay good attention to a lot of little details in every position. Greg's one of those guys too, is like every time you work with him, he teaches you something. Like we were working overhook stuff and I feel so confident in the clinch, but sometimes I just get in there and move and push and I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. And man, he just showed these couple controls and three combos off these controls that when you finish with him, you're like, wow, like, geez, he's so smart. Like he saw every detail of that position and then built on it. And then you have, various options depending on what the guy does. And, yeah, man, I mean, before I ever came down here, I was like, man, why does everybody go to New Mexico? Like, there can't be that much about like Greg Jackson or, the coaches down there that are different than what everybody else is doing. And then I got down here and I was like, oh, there is. Like, there's a reason why so many great athletes just migrate towards these guys. It's because they have a complete understanding of the game.
Is it dangerous for you, Pat? Yeah, as we said there, I think it's a lot of people, and you even admitted yourself what your game plan is. It's go out, grind the guy down for 3 rounds, then maybe look for the finish, or if it's a 3-round fight, go the 2, grind him down in the later part of the second and third round. Is it dangerous for you, possibly in your own mindset, where you approach the fight sometimes? Maybe if you go out and try and push the pace a little bit too early from what you're used to doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes, especially, I think when I was with Matt Lindland, he was really good about laying down a game plan, drilling it constantly, and following that game plan. And when I stopped working with him, I kind of got away from that and was a little bit looser about everything. Like, oh, yeah, well, I'm just going to do my style. But I didn't really have like a specific game plan or like any pinpoint
focusing on certain areas
was going to do. And they've certainly brought that back. And like, it's cool when Greg or Six Gun like surprises you and like, okay, this is what I think you should work for this fight. I was watching some clips and you're like, oh man, you took the time to like research my opponent. Like, heck yeah. Like, so it's things like the little things like that. I think that I got away from that. These guys do so well out here, just paying attention to the small details, focusing on, okay, this is a good position for you. Like, and we've seen some weaknesses on your opponent here. So let's work him into that area. And these are some things you can do once you get there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Speaking of your opponents, how has this fight not happened before? Like Strikeforce. It's just a little bit amazing to me that this fight has never taken place. I think you were in Strikeforce and maybe another organization together at one time. And, JZ at one stage, he was the guy that was being talked about as, the best in the world. How hasn't this happened, man? What the fuck?
I don't know. It's a good point. And, the funny thing is too, it's never like there was never like talk really like of other than like buzz of like, wow, these two should fight like on the internet. I never like got a contract to fight him or like was training to fight him and got hurt or anything. So you're right. It's kind of weird. Like we have seemed to like be in parallel paths, but just kind of zigzagging it the same way at the same time. And, for whatever reason, we didn't meet. And, I think I'm excited to fight a guy like JZ. He's another veteran.
Test everywhere.
He's like you said, he was one of the best fighters in the world at one point. Like, I mean, just to fight a dude with that type of pedigree is extremely motivating, and you always want to prove that. Well, maybe I could have beat him all along. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Is there a little bit of extra fire in the belly now? Because I remember watching I know you're obviously coming off that win against Motion Cobra, Titan FC 37. But the fight against Rick Hunt, you won that fight for me. A lot of other media outlets had it. You winning the fight as well. Did that put an extra little bit of fire in your belly as well, Pat, to really sort of motivate you and go, fuck these guys. I won that fight. I should be, 5'6" and on the bounce now, and you're not. Is that really frustrating more than anything?
Oh, heck yeah, it is, man. I mean, just to light a fire under my butt, man. Yeah. I thought I still watch it and go, how the hell did they give the fight to him?
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, yeah, I certainly am coming in with a chip on the shoulder. I feel like it's my belt. I feel like I'm still the champ, and this is a title defense. And I really, really want to get that belt back and show people that, man, I should have been there the whole time.
Is it almost you're fighting a guy now like JZ, Motion obviously a lot less inexperienced. Rick Holmes was a hardy vet as well. Is it almost harder for you fighting a veteran than it is a younger guy? Because the younger guys, you know a lot more tricks. You're an old dog. I know I'm actually older than you, but I'm not. You've been around the scene obviously for a long time. But is that almost a little bit tougher when you're going in against more experienced guys, even if he's an up and coming little stud or something like that? Do you have to be more wary of the little tricks and the ins and outs of the game?
I think so, absolutely. Because, yeah, like you said, the little tricks that you just pick up along the way. And, you got to figure a guy who's been in the game as long as him has seen a lot of bad positions. And, staying calm and not kind of like mentally checking out when you get in a bad position or get into trouble is something that needs to be developed. I think you learn that going through the fire of fights. And I know that JZ's been in trouble before. I know he's been in bad positions. I don't expect him to freak out at all. I don't expect him to get nervous and make any stupid mistakes. So I think that's when you're fighting another veteran. I think that's kind of where, issues can come up where, they'll stay calm when other guys may check out.
With a win, Pat, in this fight against JZ, for me, you'll be 6-0. I know that blemish against Rick Horn is there, but I think a lot of other people feel the same way. Is there pressure on you to make a statement in this fight, or do you feel that with the UFC knocking on the door, you're going to be 6-0 as far as I'm concerned with a win in this fight, and you must surely be knocking on the door to get re-signed again by the UFC?
I would think so, and like you said, I'm trying to focus more on the performance. Like, man, I think if I have a great performance, come in there, stop him, finish him, like that will be the move to make me, back there. If I come in and I play it safe and win a boring decision, I don't think they'd pick me back up. I think I need to go out there and make a statement. And, I actually watching Bilal Muhammad in the last Titan, the way he came out and put the stamp on that guy and looked great, man, and then got picked up by the UFC. That's kind of what I'm focusing on is just, don't think about it. If it happens, it happens, but go out there, fight like a champ, put a stamp on this dude, and let the chips fall where they may. And if they don't pick me up after that, then no worries. I'll go out and smash another dude. you know. But don't be like one of those guys like, oh man, why aren't they picking me up? Like, why hasn't the UFC signed me? I don't. That's nothing's like hearing those guys in the gym, man. You just shake your head, walk away, go, oh God, what is this guy talking about? Like, do something to get noticed. Don't want to or expect to get noticed.
That's it. That's the way you do it, and that's the way you say it, Pat. I completely agree, Pat. You should have fought over in Ireland. I know you're dying to get over here to fight someday. When's it going to happen? Because I know you've no plans to retire anytime soon. As I said, I'm older than you. I only found that out the other day when I was doing a bit of research. I couldn't believe it. I'm only messing. But it's obviously something that you want to do. We shared a few texts over the summer about you wanted to get over here, potentially and fight in the next couple of years. Is it something you've your heart set on? Clearly it is, before the end of your career in about 10 years' time.
Oh man, it's like on top of my bucket list, man. I want to get over there so bad, man. And if it doesn't happen soon, I'm just gonna take a trip over there. But I'd rather fight like over there. Like it's been a dream of mine for many years. I mean, we've been talking about it for a couple of years now. So. And I thought I saw something about maybe a Dublin event in like 18 months or something. I don't know if that was just some stupid internet rumor.
Well, we're not getting one this year. I know. Now we're on air. This interview released, but there's going to be one in Belfast apparently by the end of the year. Obviously, that's not the Republic, but there's going to be one in Belfast. It's classed as the UK, so. I'm sure they'll be back here next year if they sort out all their stuff they need to sort out with Conor. We're not flavoured the month at the moment here in Ireland. We've had a few losses as well, so we need a win somewhere, one of our boys. But it'll be back, and hopefully, Pat, we'll get to have you fight here someday. That'd be obviously great for you and for us here in Ireland, because you have a big fan base, obviously, as you know, in Ireland. But Pat, anyone you'd like to give a shout out before we wrap up the interview? I do appreciate the time as always, my man.
Man, I just want to thank all the guys down here at the BMF Ranch, the coaches at Jackson's, Greg, Six Gun, everybody else who's helped me, and certainly all the guys down at Jackson's. It's the coolest gym in the world, man. It's such a good vibe for how many elite athletes they have there, and really how many like dudes who come in, and they always have a bunch of foreigners and everything, and it's just the coolest gym in the world. I don't know how else to say it, but I thank everybody there, and then all the guys back home at Gracie Barra, and stuff for helping me.
And has Cowboy got I know he's building some dorms there. Is Everton, are they up yet? Has he got the dorms finished?
Yeah, they're framed up. All we got to do is get the sheetrock going, so that'll kind of be the next step. I think it's still probably, how construction goes. Nothing ever goes on time. So probably be another 6 months or so. But it's a big building, man. I wish I could show it to you right now. But I'm looking at it right now. It's getting close, and they actually got some guys out here working on it right now. So I know all the electrical's done. I'm pretty sure it's just getting the walls up, man, and painting it. So it's almost there.
There we go. Pat Bam Bam Healy, as always, a pleasure, my friend. Always appreciate you coming on the show. And guys, you can find Pat on Twitter and all social networks at Bam Bam Healy. That's correct, isn't it, Pat?
Yep, definitely.
Nice one, Pat. Appreciate it, man.
And it's always a pleasure, man.